I grew up here, I went to school here, and I think the environment makes a huge difference. So when you see the kind of push and the kind of respect that women are given here, I think the opportunities kind of unfold for yourself. So I was lucky, I had a platform to go abroad, look at good institutions, to go study, to go working, come back. I feel there are limitations because of, like as you mentioned about cultural barriers, those things will take time. But more than anything, I felt that the biggest limitations were the ones that we put on ourselves. The kind of pressure that we put on ourselves as women. I think we keep comparing ourselves and we want to have it all. Now, what does having it all mean? I compare myself to the most accomplished CEOs, men and women alike. But then I also want to compare myself to the mother who goes and baking goods to the bake sale at school. And then I also compare myself to the supermodel who's sitting next to me at the restaurant and saying I don't look like her. So how can I have all of it? So I think most important is for myself to not put undue pressure and expectation to myself. It's my choice. What do I want to balance? What is right for me? How much amount of skills I can cope with at work, at home, and in social surroundings, and that once I have that balance sorted internally, I think a lot of the other things can get accomplished, and then you can kind of excel.
Have you found that incompatible to be a good business leader and a good the home life you described?
I don't think it's incompatible. It is definitely it can be blended, but I'm just saying undue expectation where I'm trying to compare to the best of each of them to try and achieve that might be a bit unrealistic. I can do all of it, but I can do all of it in parts and not be so unfair on myself. I think as women, it's great because we try to stretch ourselves and we say we want to do so much, and and even at work, I keep seeing women who are doing amazing, but they don't want to push themselves to the next level because they feel that they haven't reached that, they're not ready for the next level. Whereas men, on the other hand, they're more willing to say that I'll figure it out. I'll take it on and then I'll figure it out. Whereas women are always trying to take a little bit of a backseat. I don't want to take it and then kind of not be able to deliver on the role, even though they have proved themselves in whatever they've done till date, even though they are more than competent and qualified for the role, they're still reluctant. They need a lot more push in that thing. I think even personally for myself, unless somebody says, okay, you've done well, this is good, we believe in you, we trust you, that needs to change. I think we have to kind of start believing in ourselves more and kind of push ourselves to the forefront. Yes, so I have two kids. I have a 9-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. I had my first son I had my son when I was in England, and I had the luxury of having 9 months of maternity leave. I was able to spend pretty much up until his first birthday with him, spend time with him. When I went back to work, I was working with Ernst & Young at that point, and they were in this major drive to kind of retain their women talent. So they made all sorts of flexibility in terms of work, flexible timing, and going part-time, and all these things made a huge difference. I came back and I had my daughter, and just had my daughter when I came back, and I was looking at the rules here, and everyone goes back after 2 or 3 months of maternity pay and paternity leave. And I remember just taking a decision that, I would prefer to at least have that 1 year with my daughter. And I remember going back to work exactly like 10 days after she turned 1. It is a challenge. I think having the support system makes a massive difference. You want to have a family that is going to be around to help you, because it does put a lot of things that you can't avoid. There is no sidelining any of those responsibilities that you have to that child that you bring into the world, and you want to do the best for them. Recently, I had them both inducted into a new school, and I almost cried because they had orientation at the same time in different classes for both of them. And I remember thinking, how am I supposed to be at 2 places at the same time? And I remember calling my sister and saying, can you please go in with my son, because I have Iman, I have to go in with her because she's younger. So it makes such a huge difference having people around you who are going to help you. As far as work is concerned, I work in healthcare, and I think for women what drives us a lot is making impact to society. So just like being a mom is just about kind of like nurturing this young life that comes into the world, being in healthcare, it is about kind of serving people and being there. So if you look at the industry, it's like 50–60% are women. Women who want to make a difference, women who want to contribute to community, women who want to treat people. But when you look at the leadership, even in healthcare, you see there are only a handful of people in senior leadership on the boards of such institutions. Change has to happen at the top. I think as an organization, we are quite progressive like that. My head of IT is a woman. My head of quality, I have country heads who are women. You have, especially in healthcare, women are the ones who are the main decision makers. You know, women are the ones who are delivering healthcare mainly. So it is only natural that women are there making these decisions, policies, rules, and kind of steering the whole course of how healthcare is administered. So we have to make structural changes. We have a large number of nurses, and sometimes I sit in ops meeting where they say, no, but if they're going to get pregnant, what are we going to do? I said, what do you mean? That's half our population and that's half our workforce. We make adjustments. We have to make sure that we provide an environment that is safe and secure and where they feel energized and where they feel protected and safe and secure to work. That's the only way we'll be engaged. That's the only way they will be engaged, and that's the only way to kind of take that company to grow. So I think as women, we always talk about creating value. That's, I think, the difference that usually comes with having women on the board. To some extent, I don't want to stereotype, but I think men and in private sector, we are a lot more short-term focused. You know, you want to show your quarterly results, you want to show your half-yearly results, and we work towards that. And that's difficult when you think about, what about all these women who are going on breaks? What about all these women who are not going to be available? Whereas when you're thinking long-term, when you're thinking sustainability, when you build these relationships, when you build these this environment where women feel that they can be in this role for a long time, in this organization for a long time, and you're going to show them progression and you're going to show them an option to be able to balance both out, you're creating a company which is much higher value, and you're creating a company which will go into delivering far more for the society as well. I think for the private sector, it is definitely easier in terms of the nimbleness and flexibility to do it. But having said that, more important is the messaging that goes out. One thing is to just make the structural changes, but if you're not supporting it by active messaging and actions that is supporting it, it just becomes a policy in the book which just gets sidelined anyway. So I think it is very important that you actually need to implement, you execute, and you show the results, and you show the benefits of those results as well. So you have to keep talking about it while we're driving this change. That's key for leadership. I think it has to go hand in hand. As I said, we bring along, or we want to attract like-minded people who believe in what the company is, the vision is, and then being able to try and give them the right workplace environment. So all this, it's a gradual shift. So we've had instances where even my chairman, I remember him asking me, he's like, why are you trying to leave work at 4 in the evening? I said, I want to spend 2 hours with the kids before they go to bed. I'm back on my laptop from 9 p.m. till 2 a.m. My work's not going to suffer. So similarly, you have to make those adjustments for women in the workforce. That's the only way you're going to be able to retain that. With globalization, with technology, you can work smarter. The traditional 9-to-5 jobs is only applicable for men and not even to men anymore. So now when you have all these opportunities to try and work at your pace, still that you can deliver results and still that you can achieve what you're set out to achieve, then why should we have these boundaries and these shackles? So when you see people in leadership and when you see those sort of flexibility available, of course, that does help more women come into the workforce, and that does kind of hopefully inspire more women. Yeah, I think it would be again doing injustice to yourself. You have to figure out your inner wiring and then make those tough decisions. Because irrespective of whether you're taking a decision as a man or woman, you take a decision based on what's right for the company or what's right for a country for that matter, and that should be what you drive it rather than how will anyone else view it as me responding as a woman or versus responding as that it is what is the right decision for the organization or for the institution or for the country. Even in my own household, we're three girls, and I know that I might be very ambitious and I might want to be at work, like working 15, 16 hours, but then I have my sister who's like, I just want to be able to spend 5 hours with the kids, make sure that I'm putting them to bed every single night, I'm picking them up from school. So having women, we know that there are a lot of benefits in our businesses, and they contribute and bring us to a completely different level of thought and that diversity that comes out in a big way. But the most important thing is you are true to yourself. If what I want to do is work, and work and reach the top of whatever that I'm doing, then you have to try and aim for that. But if what makes me happy is something completely different, or if it is social service or whatever it is, or being at home with my kids the whole time, I should do that. So you have to always figure out what makes you happy and just go for that. Don't let anyone else dictate to you. No, don't let anyone else dictate to you. You will get all sorts of advice. People are very few when they come to advice. So listen to your own inner wiring. Listen to what your heart says, what your soul says. You can only be happy once you're true to that.